Hey, this is Bizarre with 10 ways to demotivate our tech employees. And today I will talk about demotivation by hierarchy. We are not equal. We have different experiences, different skills, different preferences, and different positions within our organizational structures. And these give us different responsibilities and privileges. There's always a lesson more. Whether we like it or not, whether it's official or not, whether it's justified or not, hierarchy is a reality. Hierarchy comes in different flavors. First, there's the line management hierarchy. In addition, most companies have independent hierarchies for product development or project execution. And there are roles and titles. An employee with a higher position inside the line management hierarchy has more authority than an employee with a lower position, even if the two belong to entirely different branches. And the word of a senior principal engineer has more weight than the word of a normal engineer, even if the normal engineer is an expert in this particular field. There are also informal hierarchies our employees make up by themselves. We don't have to go into more detail. Our positions within our organizations are defined by competing hierarchical structures, and often these hierarchical structures lead to bad decisions, to conflicts, and to disengagement. Sometimes only the hierarchy itself and how it is formed demotivates our employees. Titles deserve a deeper consideration. When organizations hand out titles like senior engineer or senior principal engineer, or even build elaborate schemes around such titles, they want to reward their better employees for their contributions and motivate the remaining employees to become better as well. Titles alone don't have a cost. They are a currency the organization can manage according to its own preferences. When titles get connected to the salary development, they will have a cost. One could argue that better employees deserve higher salaries and that this is a good investment. And using the titles simplifies keeping track of the salary structure within the organization. However, this concept doesn't work as planned. It starts with that not everyone gets motivated by a title. Most tech employees simply don't care about their titles as long as they receive recognition from their colleagues. They start caring when they feel treated unfairly. And even for those employees who give importance to their titles, it's less about having reached the next level, but more about having a better title than the others. The motivation lasts until the others also receive better titles. Leaders are often competitive. They normally rise in their organizations and get motivated by rising even more. And they tend to generalize this concept, believing that the others feel the same. This, however, is questionable. Most tech employees despise hierarchy. They feel best in an environment where decisions are made weighing technical arguments. And they get demotivated by that the position within their organization beats knowledge or experience. Hierarchy is used to justify privileges, whether it's flying first class, budget for business meals, an own office, a bigger desk, a parking lot, or a more powerful laptop. Even if we generally accept inequality, many of these privileges don't make sense from a business perspective. If the goal is to increase profitability, the employee working with hardware samples might need a bigger desk, or the employee working with graphics software should get the more powerful laptop. And the employee who has a walking impairment should get the nearest parking. Hierarchy is actually a very bad and demotivating reason to justify privileges which are not related to the role a person has. Making good decisions is vital for business success. And the more we rise in the hierarchy, the more we convince ourselves that we are good at making decisions. There might even be some truth in this. At least our past decisions are, to a large degree, what brought us here. A fact is that leaders often use their influence connected to hierarchy to push through bad decisions. This can be very frustrating for tech employees who get overruled. Titles are a major source of conflict, and since there are so many potential points of failure, I would claim that we are doomed to fail with titles. Our criteria to determine them do not cover all important aspects. Some employees create value by holding the team together or by connecting people, and we tend to miss such important factors. Long-term employees have better titles just because they rolled their dice more often. If parts of the organization have a higher level, it will be difficult to average this out. And some managers have more influence and will use it to push through their own people. Once titles get connected to salaries, budget planning will become a major factor in the title strategy. At this point, the original idea to reward the better employees will easily get compromised. The better employees might just not be good negotiators or be too modest. And there will always be employees who deserve a better title but cannot get it now because of budget restrictions. Whatever we do, a large part of our employees will perceive their titles as too low because there will be always someone with the same achievements, same skills, who has a better title. And some of them will be absolutely right, and others will be wrong with their perception, but this doesn't prevent them from losing part of their positive energy. There is really no way through this title minefield. Let's rethink privileges. We have to understand that privileges don't motivate people to do a better job. Let's avoid privileges not connected to a business need. And let's rethink how decisions are made within our organizations. Making decisions is not what defines good leaders. Good leaders moderate and ensure that the best arguments are considered. Removing hierarchy from decision making does not only lead to better results, but also increases the motivation of our regular tech employees. And since there's no way through the title minefield, we should entirely avoid it. Our modern tech organizations don't need titles and can only lose by having them. I promise that most tech employees will not miss their titles. And yes, they are still the ones who do, the ones who want people to acknowledge their specialization and their seniority, but we should see this in proportion. We compare a happier majority with a less happy minority. And the employees who get motivated by their titles only get motivated if the title is higher. The dissatisfaction about not having a title might be similar to the dissatisfaction about that the title is too low. How can we get rid of titles in an established organization? Employees got used to their title achievements, and taking away their achievements will demotivate them. The first step could be to make titles less visible by removing them from org charts and contact cards. Without losing anything, employees will realize how insignificant titles can be in their daily interactions. A second step could be to disconnect the salary determination scheme. If employees can earn more money without being promoted, they might not be that interested any longer in getting a better title. And once we stop handing out new titles, few will still insist in having one. Or we could have daily title votes. Please give me a like if you agree that I'm your distinguished senior principal motivator today. So much about hierarchy. If you have something to add or correct, I would be glad if you left a comment. The next topic will be demotivation by bureaucracy.